Om Namah Shivaya, RajaYoga for Conquering the Internal Nature by Swami Vivekananda, voiceover Manish Brahm, published by Advaita Ashram, publication house of Ramakrishna Math. Chapter 1, Introductory. All our knowledge is based upon experience, what we call inferential knowledge, which go from the less general to the more general, or from the general to the particular, as experience as its basis. In what are called the exact sciences, people easily find the truth because it appeals to the particular experience of every human being. The scientist does not tell you to believe in anything, but he has certain results which come from his own experiences and reasoning on those experiences. When he asks us to believe in his conclusions, he appeals to some universal experience of humanity. In every exact science, there is a universal basis which is common to all humanity, so that we can at once see the truth of the fallacy of the conclusions drawn therefrom. Now, the question is, has religion any such basis or not? I shall have to answer the question both in affirmative and in the negative. Religion, as it is generally taught all over the world, is said to be based on faith and belief, and in most cases consists only of different sets of theories. And that is the reason why we find all these various religions quarreling with each other. These theories, again, are based on belief. One man says there is a great being sitting above the clouds and governing the whole universe, and he asks me to believe that solely on the authority of his assertion. In the same way, I may have my own ideas, which I am asking others to believe, and if they ask a reason, I cannot supply them with any. This is why religion and metaphysical philosophy have a bad name nowadays. Every educated man seems to say, "Oh, these religions are only bundles of theories without any standard to judge them by, each man preaching his own pet ideas." At the same time, I must tell you that there is a basis of universal belief in religion, governing all these different theories and all the varying ideas of different sects of men in different countries. Going to the basis of them, you find that they also are based upon the universal experiences. In the first place, I will ask you to analyze all the various religions of the world. You will find that these are divided into two classes: those with a book and those without a book. Those with a book are the strongest and have the largest number of followers. Those without books have mostly died out, and the few new ones have very small followings. Yet in all of them find one consensus of opinion that the truths they teach are the results of the experiences of particular persons. The Christian asks you to believe in his religion, to believe in Christ, and to believe in him as the incarnation of God, to believe in a God, in a soul, and in a better state of that soul. If I ask him for reasons, he says, "No, it is my belief." But if you go to the fountainhead of Christianity, you will find that it is based upon experience. Christ said he saw God, the disciples said they felt God, and so forth. Similarly, in Buddhism, it is Buddha's experience. He experienced certain truths, saw them, and came in contact with them, and preached them to the world. So with the Hindus, in their book the writers, who are called rishis or sages, declare that they have experienced certain truths, and these they preach. Thus, it is clear that all the religions of the world have been built upon that one universal and adamantine fountain of all our knowledge, direct experience. Teachers all saw God, they all saw their own souls, they saw their eternity, they saw their future, and they saw what they preached. Only there is this difference, that in most of these religions, especially in modern times, a peculiar claim is put before us. That claim is that these experiences are impossible present day. They were only possible with a few men, who were the first founders of the religions that subsequently bore their names. At the present time, these experiences have become obsolete, and therefore we have now to take religion on belief. This I entirely deny. If there has been one case of experience in this world in any particular branch of knowledge, it absolutely follows that this experience has been possible millions of times before and will be repeated eternally. Uniformity is the rigorous law of nature. What once happened can happen always. The teachers of the science of yoga therefore declare that religion is not only based on the experiences of ancient times, but that no man can be religious until he has had the same perceptions himself. Yoga is the science which teaches us to get these perceptions. It is useless to talk about religion until one has felt it. Why is there so much disturbance, so much fighting and quarreling in the name of God? There has been more bloodshed in the name of God than for any other cause. And the reason is that people never went to the fountainhead. They were content only to give a mental assent to the customs of their forefathers and wanted others to do the same. What right has a man to say he has a soul if he does not feel it? Or that there is a God, he does not see him? If there is a God, we must see him. If there is a soul, we must perceive it. Otherwise, it is better not to believe. It is better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. The modern idea, on the one hand, with the learned, is that religion and metaphysics and all search after a supreme being is futile. On the other hand, with the semi-educated, the idea seems to be that these things really have no basis, that their only value consists in the fact that they are strong motive powers for doing good to the world. If men believe in a God, they may become good and moral and so make good citizens. We cannot blame them for holding such ideas, seeing that all the teaching these men get is simply to believe in an eternal rigmarole of words without any substance behind them. They are asked to live upon words. Can they do it? If they could, I should not have the least regard for human nature. Man wants to experience truth for himself, to grasp it, to realize it, to feel it within his heart of hearts. Then alone, declare the Vedas, will all doubts vanish, all darkness be scattered, and all crookedness be made straight. You, children of immortality, even those who live in the highest sphere, the way is found. There is a way out of all this darkness, that is by perceiving Him who is beyond all darkness. There is no other way. The science of RajaYoga proposes to put before the humanity a practical and scientifically worked out method of reaching this truth. In the first place, every science must have its own method of investigation. If you want to become an astronomer and sit down and cry, astronomy, astronomy, will never come to you. The same with chemistry. A certain method must be followed. You must go to the laboratory, take a different substance, mix them up, compound them, experiment with them, and out of that come a knowledge of chemistry. If you want to be an astronomer, you must go to the observatory, take a telescope, study the star and planets, and then you will become an astronomer. Each science must have its own methods. I could preach you thousands of sermons, but they would not make you religious until you first practice the method. There are truths of sages of all countries, of all ages, men pure and unselfish, who had no motive but to do good to the world. They all declare that they have found some truth higher than that the senses can bring to us, and they challenge verification. They say to you, take up the method and practice honestly. And then, if you do not find this higher truth, you will have the right to say that there is no truth in the claim. But before you have done that, you are not rational in denying the truth of these assertions. So we must work faithfully using the prescribed methods, and light will come. Thank you so much for your time. Har Har Mahadev.